like to reiterate my partner's points about why we should establish a flat tax in the United States. Our opponents began by saying that a flat tax is unfair. Given the scenario that 10% at the bottom is not the same as 10% at the top. But we actually address that, saying that we can have a break, because we can actually calculate what is required for a standard of, like a reasonable standard of living in the U.S. And that's where we put a cutoff point to make sure, these are the people that get money back, to make sure that they can maintain a reasonable standard of living. And the other point that was brought up is a lot of the times it's unfair because of loopholes. And that's true, it is unfair because of loopholes. How do you get around that? You really can't. That's the problem with progressive tax. Wherever you have progressive tax, people are going to find these loopholes and exploit them. That's why you have companies that are paying for the most expensive lawyers to find, the loopholes, and then that's why they get exempt from so many taxes. The other problem with all these loopholes, well, a fact of the matter is that our tax code is 97 years old, and it's not the case always that we're changing, we're adding to it, and then that's why it's 73,000 pages long. A lot of these times, these loopholes are vestigial aspects of old tax codes. And as for the aspect of flexibility, so one of the things that was talked about is that this flexibility, it allows us to adjust to each person. But I'm asking, how much flexibility is too much flexibility? My partner brought up a point that you had 45 tax experts give 45 different quotes for a hypothetical family. See, this is getting to a point of flexibility where it's simply unfair. When we initiate a flat tax, right, a person making 1,000 times the income as a middle-class American will be paying 1,000 times the taxes to the government. That's what and as a matter of fact, I'm not the only one that thinks about this. About 62% of Americans agree that a flat tax is something that's good to initiate, and a lot of current U.S. governors, the ones that the site specifically was debate.org, cited Rick Perry, Kate Carey, Grover Norquist, and Michael Burtis. So the next point was that I think they mentioned it was easy to interpret. It's not easy to interpret. This is what I mean. We have tax experts that can't even agree on what is an appropriate quote for a family. And then I believe we actually mentioned in class, when you call the IRS, they'll tell you to your face, I don't know. You said that, right? As for the real estate, this is again, talking about taking away from a mortgage. We went on a, it's called calculateyourmortgage.com, it's something like that. The money you save on a mortgage in a progressive tax compared to what you save in a a progressive tax, the direct savings, it's about $7,400. And again, these tax codes were initiated in 1913. That's one of the big, that's what leads to a lot of the problems. As for socially positive behaviors, things like donating to charity, well, one of the issues is that every year Americans spend $300 billion trying to prepare for these taxes. Well, what could we do if we took that $300 billion and just put that directly into charities? Finally, for the point about the IRS is, if we were to go to a flat tax, many people in the IRS will lose their job. That's already happening with our progressive tax. Since 1992, 20% of the members of the IRS are gone already. It went from 112,000 people down to 90,000. And one of the main problems is, so a progressive tax works fine on paper, right? But the thing is, people don't use all the benefits that they have access to, and that's why it becomes so skewed and fouled up. 2/3 of the people just take a flat deduction. As a result, they're not getting all the money they're entitled to, according to Forbes magazine. And in addition to this, as for state taxes, 7 states, a lot of states have already switched to a flat tax, which is hinting at what a future wave of economics, in the sense that a lot of these states that switch to a flat tax or lower tax are the states that are attracting all the businesses. It's there that they go because the businesses know that's where they're going to make it. Switching to a flat tax not only helps the people, but it helps grow business and things like that. It helps the economy not only from an individual standpoint, but as a whole, macroscopically.